Hi friend, I'm Lee Keckner. Welcome to day number 22 of Relationships. It's your fault. Oh wait. If you would join me in 3 grounding breaths and then we'll get started with the magic. All right. Today when you breathe in through your nose, hold it for 2, and out through your mouth, hold it for 2. Why? Because in the pause is where we can become our best selves. We can respond instead of react. We can make a new choice. And we can get present. So let's take a 2-second pause between each breath. Okay, so in through your nose, hold for 2, and out through your mouth. Hold for 2, in through your nose, and out through your mouth. Feel that pause, in through your nose, and out through your mouth. In the pause is the magic. In the pause is the present moment. In the pause is a new choice and a new direction in life. So start to get familiar with the pause and use that. Okay, you guys, we are on our final descent to the end of this series. We are on the last 11 days. And this last section is all about tangible tools, which I love because when you walk away and you move forward in all of your relationships from strangers to lovers, I want you to have a tool belt, an imaginary tool belt or a real tool belt that you write down. You write down the things that spoke to you in your journal. And you have that with you like, I'm mad as hell right now. I want to rip someone's head off. What is one of the tools that I can use? So maybe if you have your journal around for this last section and you jot down what stands out to you, what resonates with you, and what you feel like would be applicable to your situation. I'm going to just, before I talked about kind of multimedia and how I like art that's multimedia with a bunch of different textures and things going on, it's the same with spirituality or being happy and healthy or fully who you are. And I talked about the other day oils, how essential oils have been used for thousands of years, as well as crystals for thousands of years. Everything on the planet is made up of energy, and these are said to have really good energy. So I have some different crystals here, and they all mean different things and support you in different ways. And I also talked about the oils, but then I had mentioned touch. So I want to talk briefly on touch. Touch is imperative for our well-being. Whether you are touched by an animal or you're petting an animal, you're holding a baby, you're making love to your partner, you're holding your hand of your child, you're putting your arm around a coworker. Touch, since we were little, develops who we are, and it's so imperative to have it. I say this for everyone, especially if you're single. Try if you can to pay someone to touch you. Try and get a massage. Try and find a student who's working on becoming a massage therapist because they give free massages if you can't afford one. I just got trained in Reiki, which is literally touching the body and using this kind of energy that you can tap into to healing. It's called Reiki, and I just got my level 1 certification, but I'm realizing how important touch is. I remember when I was in school and a guy would sit next to me, or a woman who I knew was single, automatically my hand went on their back and just started scratching their back and rubbing their back and just letting my hand touch their shoulder, no matter who it was, mostly single people, because I didn't know how often they were being touched. And I know my kids are getting hugs, and my husband, if I'm not yelling at him, is getting a back rub. So just be aware that touch is so powerful, and to give yourself that gift. And if you can't afford it, find students who need to touch someone for their certification. So look at that as part of your healing and growing. I don't need this yet. Okay, so remember to have your journal around. And I'm going to just kind of tell you briefly the things that we're going to talk about, and then we'll talk about something else real quick. Okay, the things that we're going to touch on is being seen and heard. And within that one, we're going to talk about silent listening, which is one of the most powerful things you can do in relationships and the biggest gift that you can give all of your relationships. And we'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow. And I need to hear that too, because I'm so quick to give information or tell how to help. I know something that can help you, David. If you would take a breath here, David, instead of reacting. And he's like, shut up. So what I want to do is, more than talking and moving my freaking pie hole, which can be draining for those around me, I want to practice listening with the ears of my heart. So we'll talk about that more tomorrow. Ownership. is a whole series I did. You can find on my website, lee.la. Ownership is owning your shit, 100% of the shit. Blaming no one for the things that bother you or upset you or make you mad. Realizing what's triggering you, going within and healing yourself from the inside, as opposed to blaming others for what's going wrong. So we'll talk about ownership. PP, partner with power. Regardless of what your religious beliefs are, there is an energy that we are all linked into. It is inside of us. If we quiet our mind, we can connect into just this pure unconditional love within and the greatest wisdom. So I call it God, people call it whatever they call it. Energy, the universe, blah, 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 whatever it is, it's this big energy that we all came from, that we're all going back to, and that resides within us. So I want to talk that day about partnering with power in everything that you do. We're also going to talk about seeing the little boy or girl. So if you are a lesbian, seeing the little girl in your partner. If you are married to a man, seeing the little boy in your partner. Whatever your relationship is, you are going to see on that day, we're going to practice some exercises in seeing the younger person that resides inside that big adult body. Because so often the fights are triggered from that unresolved stuff from that little one inside your partner's body. And you're reacting to the big body going, what the hell is wrong with you? But he's like, I don't even know, because I'm having a temper tantrum and I'm 52. Oh, it must be my little boy. And we can start seeing the little boy and reacting to how much that little boy needed love. And we can give that little boy love that guy might not have gotten from his parent, right? So we can see that little boy and love him instead of reacting to the adult's anger. And then we're going to spend one day on seeing the good in not just our loved, our hardest relationship, our romantic relationship, but so often we take our romantic partners for granted. And we're going to spend a day or a session on that, of seeing the good in them. Acknowledging the good, voicing it, being aware of it, being in gratitude for it. And then the next day we're going to do a whole thing on gratitude, because that is one of the highest energy levels. It's up there with abundance. And when you can be in gratitude, especially when things suck, you're on fire. And then we're going to spend one day on sending love and realizing how really to get in the feeling of sending the energy of love. And energy is so magnificent, you guys. So they did some study where they had yogurt in a petri dish in the same room temperature with the same lighting. And one person would go in, they had a continual person go in for an amount of time and sit with one yogurt and say nice things to it and say loving things to it, to yogurt organism cells, and saying nice things to it and loving it and talking. And the other one was yelling and screaming and negativity or nothingness, no contact at all. The one who was getting the negativity and the isolation turned black, super quick and moldy. The other one stayed fresh longer. And there's all kinds of things out there, all kinds of these, and I'm kind of saying it half-assed right now because I don't have the facts and not in front of me, but out there are all kinds of these studies, how love, or they had 2 rabbits getting fed the same poison because they were working on a cancer treatment, and then they started they were filling it with poison. They told everyone not to touch the rabbits, but they didn't tell this one guy, and it was a janitor at night, and every night he would pick this one rabbit up that he loved and pet it. And at the end of the thing, the scientists couldn't figure out why all of the rabbits got fat and ill, but one didn't. And it had the same poison injected in it. But the tenderness and the love of that man 1 hour a day kept it healthier than the others. So that's energy. Sending out energy affects us. You know, when somebody walks into a room, you can feel their energy. And it either lifts you up, or you're like, holy shit, I got to get away from that person. So those are things that we're going to touch. The hell? Those are things that we are going to touch on over the next 11 days. And one thing I want to bring in is just the awareness of tenderness and how important it is that we want to start watering the tenderness of our heart and seeing everyone with tender eyes as opposed to critical and judging. Curiosity, I want that to be a big part of this last 11 days as well. Be curious why you're feeling you're feeling. Be curious why you're liking some people. Be curious why your body hurts around some things. Start having curiosity, tender curiosity with yourself instead of a judgment, or instead of being pissed off with yourself. wow, that's interesting. I feel angry right now. Let me explore what that is. My partner's really exciting me, right? Let me be curious what that is. Start getting curious with why you're on the planet, how you're feeling, and what's going on. Curiosity is an amazing, gentle way to explore your relationship instead of, I'm going to figure out what the hell's wrong. I'm curious how we got into this pattern, and I'm curious how we can get out in a loving way. The curiosity is creative, exploratory, and loving. I love it. All right. And we want to be mindful because somebody just told me on one of these threads the other day that the present moment is the only place where life is happening. So if you're thinking about the past, you're out of your life. If you're worrying about the future, you're out of your life because right now, this moment is all that is, right? This is all we got. So somebody said yesterday, if you're straddling, one leg is in the past and one leg's worrying about the future, you're urinating on the present moment. You're peeing on your actual life by straddling where you don't need to be. Right here is where the action is, where the magic happens. That is so sick, the peeing thing, but I just thought it kind of cracked me up. We're going to talk also about being at peace with what is. You don't have to love what's happening, but accepting it, figuring out what you need to do to move through it, and do it. It eliminates so much suffering. So often we create a story, and it's usually bound with negative emotions around every situation. Cut out the story and just do what's in front of you. And that's being present. Wow. Yeah, I was going to say, a baby just fell. Oh my gosh, I wonder if he's going to die. Should I go over there? Where are the parents? A baby just fell. Let me walk over and help him up and see if he needs a Band-Aid. Then I'll assist him in finding his parent. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, but that was the only thing I could think of off the top of my head. Cut out the story and just do what's in front of you without adding suffering in. We choose to suffer. Suffering's a choice. Get nailed to the present moment, to be always drawn back to right now. That's where the good stuff is. Okay. Let's show up and open up. Let's hear what life is here to teach us. Remember that life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. You are here for a reason, and every person showing up is a teacher. Every interaction is sacred. Today I was looking through my notes on my phone. You know how you just write notes in there, and I got a ton of them, and I started cleaning them up a little. And I ran across this, and I'm going to read it because I liked it. How long must the person holding the story that's triggering you hold it until you get the lessons he's here to teach you? How hard will the other person have to work to teach you what they're here to teach you? Will you continue not to see your part? Will you throw in the towel? Will you walk away? Will you leave only to have it show up in your life again and again until you get what it came to teach? What do you do when someone you love is being destructive, depressed, or unhealthy? You love yourself. Be gentle with yourself and practice compassionate self-forgiveness, for as you do, it will bleed on to your beloved. Okay, I'm almost done here. I didn't know I wrote this much. How low must one go until you rise? How sick must one get until you heal? How angry must one be until you soften in tenderness? Must one die for your understanding? I've had things in my life, like my son Charlie struggled a lot, and I struggled with him. And the moment I surrendered and stepped back, and I received all the messages he came to teach me about being a mother, was the moment he got to move through life with grace and ease. And who he is today is not the boy I struggled with when I was younger. He's a man who is happy, doing what he's supposed to be doing with a kind heart. And, oh, I want to cry. I thought he was hard and difficult in a struggle, but really I was. And as soon as I softened and released him and was grateful for him, he got to rise up and be a man. He got to drop the lesson he came to teach me. When I got it, he got to move on. It's so powerful. I have a person in my life who's struggling now, and it's like, how quickly can I get to love and release the judgment and how I think it should be? Just get to love so he can lose the story and he can move on as well. It's almost like as soon as we get what they came to teach us, we free them up to move on as well. Here is my quote. I gotta breathe. Just interesting how often we think things are bad. But they're not. They're just teaching us, and we're labeling them bad because it's not how we think their life should go. But it's like, no. Who is the person? They're doing exactly what they should be doing. How can I love them and support them through it instead of changing it or changing what they should be doing? Okay. Let me grab my mug. Let that shit go. Let people live their life they're here to live and just love them through it. Here's my quote for today. Let me have a tender curiosity with my body. Let me be aware of what lights me up so that I make it a priority. Let me be curious what pushes me off center and master the tools to gently guide myself back on track. Dear God, thank you for Charlie, who taught me what being a mother really is. And thank you for my other friend who's struggling right now. Let me just show up with love. Let me stay on my own path and tweak myself and let other people do exactly what they need to do while they're here. Amen. Oh, a special shout out to Charlie for being so precious. Well. Okay, so I'm just have an eyelash in my eye and a tear, but I'm just feeling tender because life is so sweet, especially when we think it sucks. It's actually magically transforming us. So I'm in gratitude for the stuff that sucks today, right now, in this present moment. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to dry my tears off, and I will see you tomorrow for day 23.